David Mellon wanted to be a Cincinnati police officer until that night in 1978.
He was riding with family friend Officer Chuck Burdsall when two cop killers attacked. Mellon testified, and both Russell Bell and Wayne Reed were sentenced to die. Sounds unbelievable, but in a story that you'll see only on Local 12 News, Deb Dixon found Mellon must tell this painful story again because both murderers are now up for parole.
At 19, David Mellon knew what he was going to do with his life. A July night 36 years ago changed all that.
It took away dreams I had all my life, and just up until that point, that's all I wanted to be. I wanted to be like my father.
That night, an off-duty cop inside the King Kwik Store in McMicken called police to say two men in a car looked as if they were casing the store to rob it. Officer Burdsall, with Mellon as a ride-along, pulled the car over. Burdsall walked toward it as Wayne Reed came out of the driver's door.
He got out of the car and he was bent. Kind of got out of the car, just bent over, and when he came up and around, he just started firing.
Reed shot Officer Burdsall in the mouth, back, and side. Then he shot David Mellon in the back. The wounded teen did something later called valiant. He picked up Birdsall's service revolver and fired at the getaway car, with Reed and co-conspirator Russell Bell inside.
I cut the door handle out of the car, trying to hit him right in the side of the head. Couldn't get the gun up high enough.
The son of a police officer, Mellon knew what he had to do next. Call for help, using the two-way on the dying officer's chest.
And the radio was there, and I knew how to use it. I said, "Police officer down, or needs assistance." What last words he said, because I couldn't remember the car number, and he said 508, 508. And I remember that, and I'll never forget that.
Only then did David Mellon feel the sting of the bullet in his back meant to kill him. Wayne Reed and Russell Bell hid their guns and changed the license plate on the car, but holes from the bullets Mellon fired helped identify them. A jury sentenced Reed and Bell to die for the crimes. That same year, Ohio's death penalty was declared unconstitutional, and death sentences were commuted to life. That's why Reed and Bell are up for parole. And that's why David Mellon wants people to remember what he can never forget.
The hurt from this is kind of just doesn't go away. I mean, I'm going to carry that forever.
Here at the Police Memorial, names are carved in stone of police officers and the year they died in the line of duty. Charles Burdsall had 3 children. You don't think about that till David Mellon reminds us of the shattered lives. This is the old two-way, similar to what Burdsall would have used that night. This would be on his belt and this on his shirt. This is what Mellon took off his shirt to call for help. And when you think about what he did, when you think about him taking the gun and calling for help, almost instincts or what a trained police officer would do, you can't help but think about what a good cop he would have been. And of course, he didn't choose that way. He became a firefighter instead, Rob.
This just seems outrageous to anyone who's going to watch this story. Does the prosecutor think there's any chance that these two could really get out?
Yes, he does. They're opposing the parole, but Joe Dieters has told me many times, and he believes for economic reasons, the parole board would release even a cop killer if they thought that a community wasn't watching them. And that's why we do these stories. We don't ask people to say any certain thing to the parole board, but we are going to give people a way to send a message to the parole board, Rob.
We sure are. I'm going to do that right now. Deb, thanks very much. You can let the parole board know what you think about Russell Bell and Wayne Reed's bid to try to get out of prison. We have a link at the prosecutor's Parole Watch page, they call it. You go to local12.com, click on the red Get It button for the link. That'll take you where you need to be.